One of the most anticipated new cars for 2024 has finally landed here in the Philippines. The 5-door version of the venerable Suzuki Jimny. In this video, we will take a first look at the base spec Suzuki Jimny GL with 5 doors and a manual transmission. Let's do this. I like the Suzuki Jimny. It's one of those capable, iconic cars that can keep up with the very best off-roaders out there. Not to mention the cute retro vibe that this 4th gen has going for it. However, one of the bigger concerns about the Jimny is its overall size, or the lack of it. The 3-door Jimny may be cute and capable, but it is far from being a practical daily driver. Now Suzuki solves that with the introduction of this 5-door variant, boosting its practicality index by quite a bit. Of course, the price tag also got a boost with this base spec GL retailing for 1,558,000 Philippine pesos. So, can this 5-door Suzuki Jimny GL convince us to open our wallets and fork out that kind of cash? Or is it just another overpriced ornament piece for your garage? Now before we find out, special thanks to Suzuki Sukat for providing the Jimny GL 5-door to do this car feature. Here at Reagan's Rides, we do car reviews of SUVs, sports cars, trucks, and everything in between. So subscribe and hit the bell. Alright, let's dive straight into the specs and features of the 5-door version of the Suzuki Jimny. Now, as you can see it from the front, you'll see that this 5-door version is the exact same width and height as the 3-door Suzuki Jimny. That's why it's quite nice that Suzuki Auto decided to give this 5-door version a different design for its front grille. Now, this being the base spec Jimny GL, you'll see that we have some chrome bits found around the slat area of the front grille, but the grille itself is finished in glossy gray. Now, the top spec Jimny GLX gets a full chromed out grille, which in my opinion looks a little bit too blingy, and that's the reason why I am liking the grille of this base spec Suzuki Jimny GL 5-door. You see, it's a little bit more subtle and it looks truly classy in its own right. Now, being the base trim GL, we only get halogen headlights here as well as the separated turn signals there, but I am quite surprised to see that we still get a pair of halogen fog lights on the front bumper. The thing is, well, you don't really get the headlight washers here being the base trim, but it's not really a deal breaker, guys. Now obviously, the biggest design change of this 5-door version of the Jimny versus the 3-door would be the overall length. And of course, the addition of 2 more doors at the back. Now, the addition of those doors means that this 5-door version of the Jimny is over a foot long when you compare it to the 3-door variant. Now, that, my friends, is not just the overall length, but it also gained over a foot in terms of wheelbase, which translates to more cabin space, especially in the back seat, and of course, more cargo space, which I will get to a little bit later on. Now, this 5-door trim also gets, well, power folding side mirrors in the top spec Jimny GLX. However, this being the base trim GL, well, we still have to make do with this manual folding side mirrors right here, which is not really a big issue. Now, when it comes to the wheels and tires, we still get the same size here. These are 15-inch alloy wheels, although the 5-door Jimny now gets a bit of an upgrade when it comes to the mechanical bits. You see, the 3-door Jimny only comes with solid disc brakes up front, but the 5-door Jimnys, well, they now get ventilated disc brakes up front. It's a bit of a bummer though that the rear brakes are still drums, but well, it is what it is. Now, when it comes to the suspension bits, well, it's still the same as the 3-door Jimny, which means that we still get dual solid live axles here with coil springs, of course, and the ground clearance still stands at 210 millimeters. However, another change here would be the off-roading angles of this 5-door Suzuki Jimny versus the 3-door. As you're seeing on your screen, yeah, we do have a slightly less aggressive breakover angle here, mainly because of the, well, that longer wheelbase. So yes, the off-roading capability of the 5-door Jimny is a tad bit less when compared to the 3-door, but that reduction also means a huge upgrade and, well, a huge improvement when it comes to overall cabin space, stability, and comfort, which personally is a 2 thumbs up for me. Under the hood, we get the exact same engine that can be found in the 3-door variant of the Suzuki Jimny, which raised quite a few eyebrows among some of you out there. But before you give out your opinion, hear me out. You see, we have a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder gasoline motor here that puts out 100 horsepower and 130 Newton meters of torque. Now, this being the base trim Jimny GL, we still get a 5-speed manual transmission which can of course send power to all 4 wheels. Now, if some of you guys out there are wondering how this 5-door Jimny will perform in real driving conditions, whether on-road or off-road, well, you'll have to click that subscribe button because my full driving review video of this baby right here will come out very soon in the channel, well, as soon as Suzuki Auto Philippines lends me one of these babies in order to properly test it out. Alright, so the cockpit design of the 5-door Jimny is almost identical to the one found in the 3-door Jimny. We have a full retro vibe going on here, similar to the 3-door, from the fabric seats down to the urethane steering wheel, at least in this base trim GL, and the steering wheel also adjusts for tilt, but it doesn't really telescope, same as the 3-door. Now when you look at the gauge cluster, we still have that same retro-inspired analog amber lit gauges right there, which are really cool to look at. Although when you go over to the infotainment system, you'll notice that it got a little bit smaller. You see, in this base trim GL, we have a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system here that thankfully comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but we don't get a reverse camera. Not really a big deal breaker. It's a cheap fix, pare. Now, when it comes to the safety bits though, well, this base spec 5-door Jimny GL gets the bare minimum. As you're seeing on your screen, we only have dual airbags here instead of the 6 airbags which you can now get in the top spec 5-door Jimny GLX. Oh yes. So if safety is a big thing for you, you might as well spring up for the top spec model rather than this base trim. Now, other than that, everything else pretty much the same. We still have that retro-inspired AC controls there. We still have the front power window controls here in the middle. But if you want to control the rear power windows, you'll have to press the buttons here in the middle of the center stack right beside the manual handbrake, because that's where it is located. And of course, we have a 5-speed manual here and your 4-wheel drive selector. Now, most importantly, we have a pair of cup holders here. Oh yeah, we have cup holders here, pare, which was my main complaint in the 3-door Jimny. When you upgrade it and add a center armrest, you will lose a cup holder. But here in this base spec Jimny GL 5-door, I don't think that that's an option anymore. You can't put a center armrest here, mainly because the controls of the power windows for the back is also found here. So that's a good thing for me, because between a center armrest and cup holders, I would choose cup holders every single time. When it comes to the overall materials used here, well, what do you expect? This is still a Suzuki Jimny, which means that we have durable and hard plastics all around, which is perfectly suited when you take this baby out on an off-road trail. Oh yeah. All right. Oh yeah. You see, guys, adding over a foot to the wheelbase of this 5-door Jimny versus the 3-door and adding an extra set of doors means that the 5-door Jimny is the most practical Jimny that you will ever see. You see, it's easier to get into the back seat now, courtesy of those extra doors. And pare, check out the space. Check out the space right here. I mean, I'm 5'6", and dude, we have a good amount of space here. I was actually surprised because it's not really a big car, even if it's a 5-door Jimny. But we have a comfortable amount of space here. The thing is, if you look at the number of seat belts here at the back, we still only get 2 seat belts here. So that means that even in this 5-door version of the Jimny, it is still a 2+2, maximum of 4 passengers. Well, you can squeeze a 5th passenger in the middle, but he or she would have to risk it because he or she doesn't get a seat belt. So yeah, that's something that you have to think about. Now, another thing that I noticed here is the windows of the 5-door Jimny here at the back. The rear windows are power windows. Oh yeah, none of that, muscle powered thingamajigs here at the back. We get power windows here, and the windows actually go down all the way because of the overall boxy shape of the 5-door Suzuki Jimny. Now, when it comes to the amenities, well, we don't get a lot here. Heck, who the hell am I kidding anyway? We don't get anything at all. We don't have anything, no center armrest. We do have a pair of cup holders now. That's one of my major complaints in the 3-door Jimny. It doesn't get a cup holder. But in this base trim, because we don't have a center armrest there in the middle, yeah, we get a pair of cup holders. So at least we have that. Oh yeah, and power windows. Oh yeah. Not much has changed when it comes to the overall rear end design of the 5-door Jimny when you compare it to the 3-door. We still have the spare tire mounted right here, although noticeably, we don't get a spare tire cover right there. Now, if you want to see the actual change, well, you'll have to open the rear door of the Jimny and you'll see that you get a much larger cargo space. We now have 211 liters of cargo capacity here versus the measly 85 liters that can be found in the 3-door Jimny. Now, what does that mean? That means that you can realistically take a large Sky Travel luggage here and put it in your cargo area, and it will fit without having to fold down your back seat. So if you're driving the 5-door Suzuki Jimny, you no longer have to choose between your friends and your stuff. You can actually bring both. Oh yeah. Now, if you need more space than 211 liters, you can always fold down the back seats here. All right, let's fold it down, and as you fold it down, you'll see that you have expanded your cargo capacity even more, although the back seats don't fold flat, so that is also something that you have to consider. Another thing that I noticed here is that the retaining clips for your back seats are actually protruding here at the back, so that might impinge a little bit more on your overall space. So these are points that you also have to keep in mind. By adding an extra set of doors as well as more cabin and cargo space, the 5-door Suzuki Jimny has now broadened its appeal to a much larger audience. People who want a capable yet relatively affordable off-roader can now add the Suzuki Jimny 5-door to their short list. The 5-door Jimny is now practical enough to go on grocery runs and family trips, while still maintaining its legendary off-road capability and overall rugged retro appeal. Thanks for watching.